report of the commissioner.
Okay, Bannock County Commissioners are now in session. There's no changes to the agenda. So our first item of business will be the Commissioners' report, invoices. And we got a few invoices.
I've got 4 more to give you for ARPA. And opioid. I need these back if possible because some of them might be in process.
Hold them for a second when we go through the rest, and then we'll do them. I'll sign them at the end. And, I did have one question. I went and talked to Christy. We paid for parking lot cleaning, plowing, for snow grooming, and I just questioned where the check went, and she's looking into that now.
The check says Citibank, but the actual check says Forest Service. But the report says Citibank, so that's weird.
Want to make sure we was paying the right people. We have a...
Also on the commission report, there's the per diems. I'll double check that they haven't been paid already. And they're not, they're not in the commission report, but I have them here. They're the per diems for the November 23 training they went to, but they added a day so that they could network with other entities and entertainers. And so we just need to clarify if that's normal practice or not. It's already done, but normally the county doesn't allow that. We do that during the networking events and during the conference. So that'll be another discussion.
And all of them are on the top, I think, is what Christy told me that we need to sign, unless they have a sticker on. Okay. So, still looking through everything. Our chief of staff went to Reno. He can sign.
Y'all are glad you came early today to watch this part, huh?
Well, it's got 2. Maybe I lied to you. I may have lied. Some of them look like they have multiple ones inside of them. This is all attorneys. If we miss some, I'm sure we'll get them downstairs.
going. Good thing it's not popcorn day.
I
We all
think
get
some of
going.
these are gonna have to sign more downstairs, we'll see.
What's that?
There may be a couple of lines we
Oh,
missed.
yeah.
Christie will get a hold of
I
us.
kinda saw that.
That one's an authorization to sign. Christie's.
So, for the board, I have the city of McCammon, $1 million for the fire station, the shower project at the jail, ARPA funds, the grandstands, ARPA funds, and the MOUD project that we're doing using opioid monies. And you guys have to sign off on those for you to sign them for you.
Yeah, that's good. Any questions, concerns? Motion? Did we do a motion?
Oh, she wants those back.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
was trying to catch John.
this one.
Yeah, that one and the other one too.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the invoices as presented.
Got a motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 That way.
That one.
I'm not sure John knows that you're having.
I'm watching.
Thank you.
That one.
That should be it.
All right. We got a motion?
Yes.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next, we have salary rate approval forms. These are all temps up at the event center, it looks like.
Here, nobody said that. Nobody said that.
There.
Okay. Rose?
She's gonna be here about 2:15.
Okay. Well, then, let's start with Scott.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Scott Crowther, Event Director, Business Manager. I have 3 contracts for you before you today to talk about. Cody, do you mind coming up? The first contract is for a fee reduction for BCRA, which is the Bannock County Rodeo Association. They've been using our facility for a long time. Last year is in trade for the fee reduction. They did a fundraiser during high school rodeo in which they gave us about $1,100. And then they also brought in a tractor driver to help work with our guys to help get the ground to the best condition. You know, we have the 3 arenas, and the outside arena that they like to use sometimes is a tough one to get nailed down. So this year we're asking the same thing. Instead of doing just a contract where the contract's worth the fee, we'd like a 50% reduction, because sometimes they cancel days. They go from this arena to that arena. So it's just easier for us to apply the actual charges for the actual time and the dates that they use.
Any questions, comments?
No.
So what age group are these room goers?
Young to old, 8 to 75.
Okay. That's quite a range.
Yeah.
Do they ride wild cows? No. Sorry. We had a discussion down in Downey last night. They wanted to ride the wild cows in our arena. So, a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the fee reduction for the BCRA as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks, Cody.
All right, Lorraine? How are you? Okay, so we have the next two contracts, both are with Randy's Tumbling. The first is for the rental of the amphitheater. They run a all-day show during the amphitheater, and we don't have the rental's not part of the fee schedule, but we have a standard price that we charge for that we bring forward on the contracts, which is $2,500 a day. And so they want to run their event on May 29th, with coming in on the 28th for half a day to do setup. So we usually charge a half-day setup fee and then the full day fee, which would be the $37.50 for that contract.
Comments, questions?
Nope. So this is full fee?
Full fee, yes.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve it.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The second fee was something we did, the second event is something we did last year, we tried last year, which was the Lantern Festival. So they came up and they rented the championship field and two pavilions. They sold some lanterns as part of a fundraiser. The lanterns were electric lanterns and not the floating ones. They put them out on the lake. It ended up being a very beautiful thing with a lot of people in the community come up and watching it. It was a fantastic event for us. And again, this is for the rental of the field and the two pavilions. It will be a full fee rental, but it's in that, kind of outside of our normal scope. Part of the deal last year was the cleanup was we wanted to ensure the cleanup happened, and that we didn't have a bunch of lanterns at the bottom of the lake, and we did not. They did a great job. They had some folks out there with paddle boards and canoes, and they were just collecting the lanterns as they went. Yep.
Cleaned up all the
So, it was beautiful. Like these guys definitely swayed me to really support this type of event. So,
Yep. If it went well last year, that was the trial.
it did.
If you done well, then I'm okay with it.
Okay, we do have another question, and I talked to
Annie?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Annie. So we were wondering, and so that you probably need to prove this, so there's a company out of Triggs, it's a hot air balloon company, and they do a lot of events and stuff in Jackson and Triggs. And we would love to have them come. What they do is they just tether hot air balloon rides up and down, 6 minutes up, down, kind of thing. If there's any, they cover their own insurance and everything like that, so that would be covered. If there is any kind of wind issues or whatever, they have already, they won't go up. They will blow it up so people can come and see the hot air balloon, and they'll give s'mores to everybody that comes by. So you get a free s'more and picture with hot air balloon. I don't know if that is something that we could add as well.
Is that on the same date? You're talking
Yeah, it'd be
same
on
date?
the same date. It would just be in conjunction with the Lantern Festival.
So they do carry a $1 million insurance for this event.
Yeah.
We have not done any hot air balloon. We haven't done those up at the event center, but people have come and talked to me about it.
It's been
Doing like
requested before, and we
Yeah.
turned it down.
Like a full day, a full festival for hot air balloons has kind of been thrown at us. And so, to be honest with you, I'm not opposed to it. I think that this would be a good way to do a trial run if it's tethered and they have full insurance on it. I'm not opposed to giving it a try.
how many balloons are you talking about?
One balloon.
Just one, yeah.
And
Just one.
it's tethered the entire time, so
Yes.
it really just goes straight up and
Mhm.
Yep.
straight down.
Yep. Yep.
I've done
current-
those rides before in one, up at Driggs.
Oh, yeah?
Mhm.
Oh, that's probably the same company, 'cause
Yeah.
that's where they're from, is Strix.
It
So was
it
it
was the
fun?
same.
Yeah, it was really
I went
fun.
on, I went on
It's
one,
been
but
a
not
long
a
time.
tethered one, but I've been on a hot air balloon.
And I know this is something that we really haven't discussed, but we don't have any county ordinances against people flying up there, and we do have paragliders up there pretty frequently. They'll just take off from the fields, fly around, land on the fields. And I've had discussions with those guys to ensure they don't interfere with some of our other events, but we don't have anything as far as an ordinance for the air for drones, paragliders, hot air balloons. We don't have anything that would stop that from happening.
And I think that needs, paragliders coming in, if we got kids out there in the fields, that's a concern to me.
I bet, I coach up there every night,
Yeah.
and those guys are awesome.
Are they?
If there are people out there on the fields, they don't do it. They're great. I've gone and talked to them multiple times over the last couple of years, and I'm literally up there every night from 5:30 to 7, and they are great. They don't. Have you had any issues with them?
I did not love it when I first got up there, but I went and I talked to him too, just like you. And I said, here's the ground rules. Like if there's any events using the field, you guys can't be here. If we have any concerts, if we have this, that, and it's kind of a group of 2 or 3 people that come and do it. But they've been very respectful of every event. I've never seen them try to land or do anything when there's people on the field. It's always a blank field. Usually first thing in the morning. It's first thing in the morning, and sometimes it's in the evening. I think there's one guy that'll fly in the evenings. But we have not had any interference with our events with those guys up there. And that was kind of my stipulation. And I do know one of the, I can't say he's the leader of the club, but they do have a club in Pocatello. And the guy that I've spoken to a lot is a lieutenant from Pocatello PD. And he and I kind of chatted about it. So I do have a contact if we have any problems that I can go to and say, shoot that down. But
Okay, and that's a different discussion than
Sure.
what we're
Yeah.
having here right now. So on this, the hot air balloons, and just going up and down, it'll be in the field that you're renting already.
Yes.
I mean, you'll take all the safety measures and nobody
Yeah.
underneath and all the other
Yeah.
concerns.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty strict when I even talked to them, because we were just seeing if it was a possibility, and they're like, okay, here's the rules, this is what we do, this is what we, won't do and stuff, so, yeah.
Well, Scott recommends it. I don't have a problem. I mean, we can try something once again.
Yeah.
And,
Did you recommend it?
I would like to, I mean, this is really the first time I've heard about it. This is the first I've heard about it. But this is, I wouldn't mind giving it a try, because we do have requests to do bigger events.
Personally, I would like to see one of those dawn patrol where they launch a bunch of balloons from that area and fill. Those are just amazing.
Yeah,
cool events.
and those do go in conjunction with music festivals, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
there's definitely, I've had people request that from us, but I want to start a little bit slow. So something like this I would support, because I just want to see how it works. I want to see what the safety requirements on the ground are for myself, see what it takes to do it. And then if it is something that we could do that's more viable, then maybe we could do something like that in the future. But
well, the ones that we turned down, they hadn't come and talked to us. They was just gonna come in and do it.
yeah.
And that was a big concern, without any correspondence.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the discussion with Randy's tumbling for the Harvest Lantern Festival and approve the air balloon as discussed.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Charity.
Charity Stagg, Southeast Idaho Council of Governments.
Wes Jones, Emergency Management.
We were recently contacted by the Idaho Department of Lands. It sounds like they're working on the rating some of the pending applications for hazard fuel reduction right now. One of them, it was proposed to award a smaller amount just because they've reached, Idaho has reached its 15% funding cap So the proposal is to fund Lava Ranch's fuels reduction phase 2, which was formerly 9 Mile fuels reduction phase 2, at about half. Fortunately, I left my other notes back, so I don't have the exact number for you, but it's a smidgen more than half. That would, of course, lower the amount of required acres. The question is, would the county be willing to accept a lower award if a lower award were officially presented,
They hit their max, huh?
which is very good.
I thought Tyre had an open checkbook.
We tested that theory.
We tested it.
Well, and I think it's still been good projects, and if there is funds available, I mean, it doesn't matter how big a fund. If we got projects that we can utilize this on, I think that we utilize.
And that matches from the landowners is typically where that comes from, correct? So it would just be a reduction on theirs. I'm okay with this, Mr. Chair.
John,
I'm all right with it.
motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we accept a potentially smaller award, should that be the case. Is that appropriate?
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dylan.
Afternoon. Dylan Evans, landfill manager.
Aubrey Lewis, management assistant for landfill.
Kyle Loomis, Public Works. I'm Casey McDaniel.
Mayors?
PSI.
I'm gonna invite the mayors up also, please. Come on up here, sit on this side. You haven't heard the last of it, that's for sure. And if you'd introduce yourselves for the record, please.
Lonnie Gunter, Mayor of Barrymore.
Carleen Hall, Mayor of McDaniel.
Thank you. All right,
All right, so we last spoke about reaching out, seeing what PSI's interest was in supporting some of the free day activities that we have going on. And it looks like we've come to at least a ballpark number of what we think that the bid would be to support the various towns in Bannock County, so.
I can so I have two options here that Casey provided us with, based on whether we drop all the dumpsters off on the same day and pick up the same day, or whether we kind of space them out a little bit, because that makes it a little bit easier for them. So the total cost, if we drop all 4 dumpsters off at one time, is $6,080. So broken down, if we take half and the cities take half, Bannock County would pay $3,040, each city would pay $760. However,
okay. That's per city?
per city is the
Okay.
$760.
Per city?
4 dumpsters per city,
Okay.
yes. However, if we do.
I'm sorry, let me just
Go ahead.
make sure I'm following this.
Yeah,
Each city's gonna get 4 dumpsters
correct.
on the same day?
We will space them out.
So it'd be like, we would deliver 4 dumpsters to one city, so say McCammon gets 4 dumpsters, and then we remove those 4 dumpsters on whatever day that they chose. And then Aramo would get 4 dumpsters on a different day and remove those on whatever day they chose. Downey gets 4 dumpsters on whatever day they chose and remove them on the day of their choosing.
So it'd be very similar to how we were currently running it.
Okay, okay.
And then the other option is that we can do, deliver 2 dumpsters and then swap those 2 out at a later date, possibly a few days later, maybe a week, and that saves us some cost there. The total cost for that is $4,960. So if split in half, that makes Bannock County's total $2,480. Each city's cost would be $620. And that is without income, because they typically haul their own. So it would be
And each city's what?
$620. Between 4 cities.
Okay,
Is that?
well, no,
They would cut us a little bit of a deal on the hauling cost if we just did 2 dumpsters and then a few days later swapped them out to the 2 dumpsters.
so would the dumpster stay there for like 2 weeks?
We can do however long the cities want to do them. We're waiving the rental charges and letting them choose how long they're wanting to have them on site too, so as part of this. So, some cities want them, in the past when I've dealt with various cities, some cities want them there for a very short amount of time so they can better police what's going into those dumpsters and making sure they're not getting overloaded. Some cities want them there for a longer period of time to, better accommodate their residents and their own schedules. So our theory was leave it up to the cities in that.
Okay. And then we're looking at doing this twice a year.
We just pulled the numbers for once, so I mean, if we did it twice, obviously it would just be doubled, but.
Mayors, this is your opportunity to have a conversation in this.
Either one of those sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
And so like when would we be doing this?
We will schedule it with you. We just want to make sure that you're okay with the costs.
Because we've already got one scheduled coming up in a couple of weeks. I think the 22nd.
Do you have that scheduled with like MRNE
I'm
or?
pretty sure she has.
Okay.
So I think I was talking to Cassidy about it, and we're kind of waiting for this all to finalize, but that was the tentative dates that we had for your guys's.
That's what, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the
So-
22nd.
So we would still do your
Yeah,
dates.
and
Already
so-
advertised in May.
Yeah, and so it'd basically be, I think it was 2 weeks, basically, from the 22nd to whatever the 2-week period was, is what we're talking about for you guys. And so it would be if you wanted all 4 there for that whole 2 weeks, or if you want to do 2 there, and then a week we go switch those out with empty ones, and then at the
Oh,
second
so we
week.
wait for you guys,
Yep.
you just dump them once and then replace the 2.
Yep. So, but it's a preference on
Yeah.
how you guys all want to handle it. We're good with either option.
So these options are up to us at the time we do it? or do we have
And
to
what they'll
settle on
approve for
one
funding.
option, or-
Well, and that's what I guess, part of the deal is, are we doing it twice a year? Are we doing it once a year? And then they can come, anybody can come the other 3 days that we've got the dumps open for free, the landfill already. What's thoughts?
I'm good with one day a year.
One time a year?
In the past, we only had the 2 free days at the regular landfill. Now that we have a third one, I feel like that kind of helps take care of the second day for the smaller cities also.
So this would be kind of their spring cleanup, that we would work with the cities. We'd pay half the price of hauling and then give the dump for free, which we said was about $20,000 the other day, right? And so I think that's a good starting point. Good, we can have conversation, but I think that's a compromise, and that's what we've asked for the cities. So this, how's Lava been incorporated with this? Because they're a little bit different, you told me the other day.
They typically run with MRNE, but we had Casey give us the numbers if we included lava in there as well. So
And you
that
did-
includes them.
Yep, yeah, we can haul the dumpsters for them. That's not a problem for us. So.
So
Okay,
this is Aramo, McCammon, Downey, and Lava? Is that the 4 cities? Okay.
Yep.
And I didn't quite catch, did you guys like this idea? Or,
We had done it in the past, just to encourage cleanup because we've got so many trashy areas, and so we tried to do it in conjunction with the free landfill day. We would put the dumpsters there so that, if they didn't get the landfill day, they would still continue to clean up. And so that was the encouragement, and so we've done it for the last few years anyway.
Has it been pretty successful?
Yes, oh my word, yeah.
and so I think, however the city wants to dump 2 or they want to dump 4, I think we can leave that up to them. I don't think the dollar amount's that much difference for the county to pay. The city would end up paying whatever the difference was, and so I think that we would leave that to them. They can make that choice, but
So, Mr. Chair, I'd move that we authorize up to $3,000.40 to go towards the free.
$3,040.
Oh, sorry, I misread my note. $3,040, thank you. Yes, sir.
For all the cities, because there is 5.
So Income typically hauls their own, so we just included, or just took Income out of it.
And they did put that again?
and
That's what they said.
we've talked with Max, Mayor of Income, and he says, is it okay if I just do what I've been doing? And Income's hauled their own.
They liked theirs because it was more of a pain to
And
make the other
and they
arrangements.
just call the landfill when they're doing the free ones and say, okay, this is, we're gonna haul in and haul free ones, and they usually do it during a city cleanup or something, but we'd give everybody the same option to.
Okay. So up to that amount for one free dump day.
Okay, any questions? We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kyle, go ahead and stay right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll do a hangout for a little bit. Kyle Brunster, Public Works Director. First item I had was talking about our fleet management. I do have some of the other elected officials in here, if you don't care if they're up, if there's a question or something.
That's fine.
No, you wanna come up?
We noticed.
So everybody on the camera.
It's like, I'm sorry.
Tori was talking.
You wanna state your names and then I'll start out?
I'm Anita Hymas, Bannock County Assessor.
Tony Monty, Bannock County Sheriff.
Dan Kendall, Facilities Director.
We're down at Bannock County Coroner.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys being here. I'm just gonna go over quick, kind of what their policy procedure manuals kind of consists of and why we're trying to do this. It starts off with the commission asking to try to direct, fleet management services to recommend improving the administration and the operation of the fleet. So we're trying to put this kind of together to have a starting point of where we can start off and start to try to improve the county's fleet.
So let me ask a question right here. So is this a new policy? It's been in effect.
But no, it's not ever been approved.
Okay,
It was discussed, but, well, it was presented, but not really discussed.
Huh, okay, that's my question, because there's no date in here saying when anything was
No,
approved. or-
no, this
Okay,
is a,
Okay.
this will be a new policy.
Now we're on the same page.
Okay, perfect. So part of that being, if we went with this, is that fleet management we would utilize our software to provide recommendations to the Bannock County Commission. By how we're gonna be doing that is, we'll start with working, and I'm just kinda going through what we have here in the policy. A vehicle analysis. Fleet management will go with elected officials and determine if the number and types of vehicles currently deployed in the fleet meet fleet policy or procedure requirements. We'll perform vehicle replacement evaluation, and most all of these, and that's what I've kind of discussed with the other elected officials, is this will be us, if we're fleet management, working together with elected officials to come up with plans and vehicles and what best suits the county. Once we kind of get that together, then we'll make a report to bring to the commission, fleet management will, of what our findings are and what we feel is best for replacement, disposal, and, maintenance and all them parts. This is a little thicker because a big chunk in the middle is part of a policy that we have already had, our vehicle usage policy. So when we were developing it, between procurement, auditing, and human resources, we kind of looked at, well, we have them two out there, so what should we do? So we just put that in kind of, so it's just one document if this one was passed through.
Okay. Let me hold you up for a minute, because it's all kind of new. And you've talked to all the elected officials? And then all the key players? I mean, like Scott and, I mean,
I haven't
Scott's got a
talked
lot
to-
of vehicles.
I haven't talked to every department, no.
Okay, I'd like this to be sent out to them, honestly, so that everybody kind of that has vehicles is a part of the conversation. I think that we're leaving out some of the individuals that need to be involved with this a little bit. I mean,
Okay. It just makes
But
it,
how many of your elected officials have you talked to?
all the elected officials.
So why do we need to go down to department heads? Because if the elected officials have seen it, then they should have discussed it with their department heads by now, and there's no sense delaying moving
so have
forward.
you read through this?
Yeah,
I haven't read it all.
well, I have, and I worked with Kyle on it. I feel pretty good about where we're at with it.
Yeah, I've read through it briefly, not every single line, and I talked with Kyle about it, and really, I think it's a pretty good policy. And what I said to Kyle when we chatted about it is, it's definitely a good starting spot. And if we have bumps in the road, then a plan that can't change is a bad plan, and we'll edit it a little bit and make some changes. One of the things that I've seen in it, as I read, is on page 15C, and it talks about vehicle acquisition limit, and talking with fleet management and procurement. We also need to include auditing in there to make sure that they have any budget authority for any purchases that they're going to make. But that's really the only thing that I saw in there that gives me, I don't have any heartburn about it at all. I think it's going to help us right size departments better than what we do now.
And the only thing that I would suggest, after looking through this the other night, is that we maybe add some vehicle parameters. You can choose A or B, A or B, A or B for the different departments, so you're not all just locked into one thing. You know, so you have it like the Equinox versus a Rogue. You can choose an Equinox or a Rogue. Those meet our parameters and the price range that we want to stay in. You can choose a half ton or a full ton, or whatever, something like that. But other than that,
Can we maybe be vague and say the vehicle replaced will be discussed for appropriateness? You don't want to get like too
Sure.
tight.
box yourself in.
And box yourself in, but it's like, we need that happy medium, because I see what you're saying, because we don't want somebody to go get,
Well, request it a
Expensive.
couple of years back was pretty high.
yeah, and so I mean, you don't want
And
an
we brought
extreme
it,
vehicle,
we
but
corralled that a little
you also
bit.
want to make sure it's going to fit within the parameters, like what the example.
Well, and
you're
it
saying.
does state in there, a base model, if there's gonna be something that's changed from what the vehicle's being replaced, it will be,
Right.
it will come before.
They're all going to come before the commission.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm with them, I think you're gonna make it, it's gonna come before you anyway, and we'll show what is replacing what.
Then we won't be revising the policy too much.
Yeah.
I still think we should have some kind of a guideline so that they're not shopping for something they shouldn't be shopping for, unless it's something that's a specialty vehicle. Okay, great, that's a different thing, but just a replacement, here's your guidelines.
Well, I think what'll help too is that they'll come to fleet management with what they recommend, and then we'll look at it and see if that fits into what we're doing with fleet. So they're not the ones gonna go out and, I mean, there'll be a little difference with like specialty vehicles like sheriff, but the other departments won't go out and be looking for just whatever. I need, like you're saying, I need a half-ton truck, or I need a four-wheel drive this, and then we'll have a standard that we pick
I mean,
from.
you could even use verbiage like, all vehicles will be replaced with a like-kind vehicle,
Yeah.
something like that, unless special circumstances arise, which will be brought before the commission.
Just something like that gives them some parameters so that we're not just going off in the weeds. But yeah, I agree with that, let's not
But have
box it down.
So
Yeah.
see what verbiage and what spot, and then we can see if we can tweak it.
Yeah,
Because you'll probably want to approve this on a Tuesday anyways.
right.
So if you throw that wording out, then Kyle can find a spot to put it in. And
Kyle can do it. Kyle's got
Find a
skills.
spot.
Kyle's got skills.
We're just trying to get this moved forward because I've been kind of going a little bit forward with some of, like for ARPA and some of the vehicle sheets that I've handed out a little, and I did have a handout for today on what usage and all that, but right now I'm doing that, and we haven't even said that I am if we're doing it or what's going on with that. So I'm trying to get to a point so we can move forward, so I can start visiting with departments and seeing what their needs are.
Okay, and that's where I've read all them other things, all the other reports about the mileage and about the vehicles and all the Excel sheets. But I wasn't sure what this one was. I wasn't sure if it was something that was already implemented or needed to be implemented. So as I read it, I had some questions and concerns. And I thought, okay, I'm not sure what I'm really reading it for.
And last week, the question came to me of who was doing what, and I said this hadn't been approved yet, and so that also kind of sparked. We needed to move forward so that
Okay.
we know who's disposing of vehicles, who to reach out to, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So I need to read this under a different eye now than what I did. I mean, I didn't like Jason, I kind of skimmed through it a little bit and, okay, is this policy right now or isn't it, and where we're at? And so I had a lot of questions as I started to go through it. John, any comments?
And I don't think we're approving anything today. We're just saying, yeah, you're on the right track, I think is what we're asked to do here. Is that right?
Well, we bring it in a week.
And then you're going to have more conversations with the elected officials to make sure their concerns are addressed.
And that can work. We've brought it before the commission once already, and in that meeting it was that we're gonna take that back and review it, and then you set up another one. So we've had a few weeks of review, and now we bring it back.
Right.
And now we're back to reviewing it, I guess. It just kind of holds us, we have budget coming up, and I've been asked to help with what vehicles, and
It sounds like we're in the kind of the final stage
But
of
if this
this.
gets put on next week, right?
I'm sorry?
Get put on next week. to
Yeah,
approve?
yeah, but, Jason, I think you had one thing you're concerned about. Sheriff, you got any particular
No, I
concerns?
read the core of it. It's fine with us. I mean, I'm with everyone else. I just want to get a direction that if we got vehicles, we need to get rid of.
Anita?
And I agree with what Tony said. I'd just like to get this going because budget is coming up and I know cars are an issue, so.
Tori?
I agree. I'm along lines, same thing. Anytime anybody's looking to make changes or do anything, whether it's ARPA or whatever, we need a direction to go with. We need to know who to talk to and how that's supposed to work. So I think we just need to figure out the policy.
So it sounds like we're substantially done, and we just have to work out the final kinks before you bring it back to us for a policy. Does that sound about right?
The kinks are worked out, just maybe a couple little tweaks that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I mean,
And actually, we have time between now and Tuesday. If I have something I want on there, or anybody else does, they get it to Kyle, we put that in there. And on Tuesday, we could.
I could
say
come with
yea
the
and
list
nay.
of what changes were asked, and with them changes in it, and then you'd know what had changed.
works for me. We'll just kick it down the road another day, doesn't matter.
Okay, put it on our agenda for Tuesday.
Okay.
Thank you, Christie.
Next up, snow groomer. We're done grooming snow.
Well, you say that now.
Yeah, sorry.
By contract, they are.
Things went great. For the first year of us kind of doing it in a little bit different way, we were really concerned with, some of the stuff with the unknowns and things like that. It worked out great with the Forest Service, with the little bit of the parking lot help that they did. We got somebody trained this winter to run the groomer. They worked very well and look like they're coming back. Started off with a new council. The council and us got together great. No problems there. We actually started to the snowmobile groups and the council got along good, and there was no arguments. We were able to work through things. We had, just like anything you'll have a few complaints. We missed a trail at first and stuff with a new operator and us being new, but by midwinter and stuff, we had everybody saying this is the best it's ever looked. So
I'd like to tell you, I didn't get the calls that I've been getting in the past.
So I think we kind of worked that out. Everything was flowing really well, and our budget, I ran it, it's not exact. It's not exact, but it's like we spent 65% of our budget. So I don't think there's any more bills out there.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, there could be, a fuel bill or something still out, but what we looked at, we think we're pretty close to being completed. So with some of that money, what we were looking at is, we do have a few minor repairs, some wear items, but we're gonna try to get them in this budget, so we're clean and ready to go for next budget.
So I didn't hear about a lot of repairs and stuff this year on the machines or the truck. How were they?
The truck was fine. We kind of went with, it was dead and then it wasn't dead, and now it ran fine. It's getting old, but
Been storing money away for a new truck.
yeah, we've been packing it away, trying to get to a new truck, and we're getting close with some of the reserve there but I think we got another year in it pretty easily. We went over in our repair, because we did have quite a bit of repair items that we started out with. We had some help come in to look it over that worked at the ski resort and kind of give us what to look for, and we did see some things that even our mechanics didn't notice of these things are wearing and stuff, and so we did spend quite a bit to get that up and running. But then we also weren't able to do Cottonwood this last winter because of the snow conditions to get to it. It's got a lot of low-lying area to get to it, like 5 miles, so we are looking with the council of talking with the independent district of maybe altering where we unload there to get it a little closer to, but that's maintenance and cost on their end, so we'll see what they want to do there to make it more accessible. But
And talking about the truck, keep an eye with Shanda. We're on that government surplus list.
if we can find,
if there's a vehicle out there through that system, we need to always be looking, in
Yeah.
my opinion. So,
okay. But no, I think it went well.
good. Good move.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment real quickly. Last year, I heard tons of complaints about this thing. I think I went out and rode a trail, and I wasn't particularly impressed.
That's where most of the complaints come from.
But this year, I rode one side at one time, and yes, I complained, but I wasn't the worst complainer, I don't think. But anyway, I have to say, this year I didn't hear any complaints, I heard nothing but positive, and so I think this was I think you guys did a good job, especially since, you're just taking on something new, and everything I heard was very positive, so.
And that was all our staff. Our shop did very well, and I thought that the committee, they worked with us really well, and Buddy did a lot of work on keeping up with the groomer and going there. We looked at if you can do more or not. We're spending like 3 days a week, and that's getting over everything once a week. I don't know if you could up that any or not, that's as much or more than a lot of places are doing, so that's kind of where we're at. If you ask us, the snowmobilers, that, you could do it every night, so we're trying to be there and do a good job.
Yeah, I think it was great.
Appreciate you listening to the customers, though.
All right, last, not least, Open Gov and Asset Management. I don't know if there's anybody else off of Asset Management. So, as you know, we got approval to discontinue our use of CityWorks. We were lucky enough that we have a PubWorks, which is a program. It's not internet or website based, and so we like downloaded and we have that program, but it's pretty old. But we're able to just keep going forward with it. And so that's what Public Works is doing right now, is we went back to this old system. We looked when we looked into the first time we did asset management, this company was number 2 on our list. We found out that CityWorks, kind of like when we bring that in before, it was complicated and it took more time than it did good. It was a little too, it's not a bad company, it's just that it was a little too robust or a little over what we needed. So we started to look into OpenGov just for the fact that we're planning and development was already using this for years. And when we seen how it versed against CityWorks, that's what bring us to this is just taking more time. It's not saving us time now, it's taking us time. And so that's why they went back to the OpenGov.
Okay, well, you got some other key players right there behind you in this, right?
Would you like me?
They were coming in late.
I wasn't invited.
He was here.
Here I am.
Planning, zoning? I mean,
but for us, it's not if or we've got to have it for Publix. Just kind of like how planning has to have theirs. And we have to have a system that can do enough to make it worth it. So what we're looking at right now is we've did a few demos, looked into it a little bit. It looked like it would take a lot of work off of.
Yeah, we won't. The current CityWorks requires a programming position, which we did not anticipate originally. That workload has fallen on somebody in GIS who it's not her traditional field, and it's been basically taken her away from GIS work that we also really need. The OpenGov solution does not require anybody on our staff. It's all SaaS, software as a service, which kind of what we thought CityWorks would be at the time when we went with it. It just didn't turn out exactly that way. So this actually eliminates a workload that was kind of superfluously loaded onto somebody else and put them back into their regular duties.
And with CityWorks, there is some departments that didn't even get to utilize it, with Scott and
Mine as well.
IT and everybody.
we actually started paying for it originally, and then we backed off with everybody now. The CityWorks is out of the county.
CityWorks is,
Okay.
we haven't re-upped it, so. So now we're back in limbo, and where I'm at with Public Works is we have to move forward and find a program that we can use. And so that's why we had been looking around, and we feel that OpenGov can do what we need it to do and do it easier. So what we're looking.
Who all's done the demos?
Demo.
I got a couple on there, and then I did a demo with my staff. Because at first, the first demo we just did with GIS, IT, and planning, just to see if this was even something that would work for us. And then I kind of threw out there another demo that people could watch to see. It's kind of like we have to make a demo for each separately a little bit, because like I was telling Dan, you get so many questions on one side of it that it's like we went way over on our demo time just because everybody's got so many questions. So there's a parks part of it and a facilities part of it that we're ready to do demos on that, but to see if that would work for them or not. But
So you two actually haven't been involved with any of the demos?
Look forward to sitting through one.
I don't know, I don't think we necessarily need one. I think that we can accomplish the things that we need to with just a GIS map, where we just have layers. I mean, the biggest issue we run into is the location of like shut-off valves and some sprinkler boxes. And really that could just be thrown on a GIS map that's just a working document for us. So I think that when we initially talked about the stuff with CityWorks, I think it was just a little bit big for what we need it for. I think just a GIS map will work great for us.
Okay, thank you.
IT kind of feels the same way. We have not deviated from our current method of tracking assets, and we track them in both Tyler and on spreadsheets. And we just felt like the CityWorks solution was maybe a little overkill for what we needed to track. We're just kind of tracking lifestyle or life cycle changes and things like that. So it just was a little more than we needed from my department.
Okay.
So let me just follow up on that. You're not going to use this OpenGov?
No.
You're not going to use it? Who's using it?
just the public.
Planning and
works.
zoning has been using it. Was the program that planning and zoning was using prior to the CityWorks implementation. And we did not have any asset tracking system for IT other than the financial system. Our stuff goes into the Tyler system when it's purchased, and then we keep a spreadsheet with life cycle stuff on it, so we can tell how old equipment is.
So, like me talking with Dan and stuff is, we kind of have to use it, and it's, I guess, up to you if we have a lot of assets in these buildings, and like I was talking with Dan, to have something to help manage budget-wise and stuff, you might have things, but how do you know when all your lights are gonna need changed, or new carpet, or whatever? Just to get a little more, not being reactive on everything, be a little proactive on being able to manage that many assets in buildings, like we do with the road end of things. And
I spent a lot of time gathering information to get ready for CityWorks, so we have it all like ready to enter into something. But I think it's a very valuable, it would be super valuable to me to build a budget with some software like this. And I've sat through a couple of other demos that I didn't love, so I'm eager to see what Kyle has found, see if it would work for me.
And you're using it currently?
Correct, yeah. So we've been using OpenGov since April of 2019. So it's been 5 years since we've implemented OpenGov.
so they use the permitting side, and this is
different.
This is the same company, so it's
Right,
together, but it's a
thing, asset
different
management.
part.
And do you need it? You don't need asset management. Do you use permitting?
We just do the permitting.
Right. So,
So
I'm curious about who's going to use this for asset management. You're going to use it,
Yeah, I would be using it with,
and Dan's going to use it.
Yeah.
And what's the annual cost of this?
$36,000,
What's the implementation cost?
$60,000.
Okay. And so, and that's just for the asset management piece.
Yes.
And you two would both say this is worth that
I haven't seen it.
implementation and annual cost for what it's going to deliver?
I would say it's worth it just for our department.
Okay. What about you?
I mean, I don't know what portion I'd be paying.
Is that going to drive your decision, I guess, right?
I mean, to sit through a demo and see what it would cost for my piece, that would be something I'd have to.
Is it 60 grand no matter how many people use it? Is that just the flat?
That's just for the implementation for it. Now, the 36 grand, what we gotta look at too is we spend, it has a fleet management in it. So we're using dossier system, which is $10,000 a year for fleet management, which is outdated, and we're looking at, we need to figure out something new for it.
Does that go away with the implementation?
Yes, and so
What
that
else
goes away.
Does anything else go away, or just that?
I got this price.
Just that, unless people want to utilize different parts of it. There's everything from procurement to,
So we could add some other
you
stuff.
could, there's,
Is there an additional cost?
no, a lot of that stuff there isn't.
Okay.
It'll be there, but I don't know, that would be something with procurement, if that would work better than because we got a pretty good system going with bonfire, so it's, some of them things, it's whether or not we'd wanna use them or not, but
Does the sheriff's department use this?
no.
So, looking at this invoice here, so I can see here that April 15th, 2024 would be $60,210. And then October 15th for annual software fee would be $36,720.
That's the yearly fee.
And what is the 41 for the professional service store?
I told them that would, this invoice doesn't look right, but that's, so the 41 is part of that implementation, so what they're saying it is, I didn't like it clicking,
Kyle,
hard to even read it. Huh?
Can I help?
Yeah.
So if you look at the 18,360 plus the 41,000 one-time implementation, that's your 61,000 or
That's,
60,000.
And the difference of the
First.
year.
Right.
Yeah, so it's prorated
It looks like-
it's prorated for 6 months, but like I told them, I said, you highlighted 41,000 and you got the other stuff in small print here to the side.
Small print. That's why I asked them questions.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
I kinda
I'm
had,
adding up to over $130,000.
I had the same confusion. So why it's in October for the yearly is that's when their payment's set up, so it would just coincide, so we'd have the payment at the same time. But so,
Where's
yeah.
the funding?
So right now, I was looking at if the commission wanted to, we have $30,000 earmarked for asset management out of everybody's budget this year, to utilize that for implementation, and then the other 30 come out of roads.
But if the other departments aren't going to use the software, they shouldn't have to contribute in. I think-
Well, if I would've re-upped on it, they would've contributed
The
it
funding
in.
was specifically for
Yeah.
city works.
It was for city work.
So I have $10,000, I have $10,000.
And I have
So then it should
75
come
city
back
work. Yep, I as
for-
well. I have 7,500.
Yeah, I have that money in my budget for City Works, and we haven't used it to this point, and it's not part of our budget, so I don't have any problem sliding it.
But if Dan doesn't like the software and decides he needs something different, why should he contribute to OpenGov if he doesn't want to use it? If it doesn't work for him?
But I would've sent an invoice a couple weeks ago and spent it.
I think we
Still
can
doesn't make it
find-
right.
I think we can.
But I mean, that's what it was for, and it would've been fine if we would've did that, but.
I think we can find funding and pay it appropriately out of the departments that are going to use it without them having to contribute for something they're not using.
So that's what I'd ask you, to go to Christie and figure out, I'm not against the doing this at all, but we gotta know.
And that's what I tried to relate to the rest of them is, we need it I need it for these departments. If it works for them, great. If it doesn't, great. I'd rather just find it in road and bridge and landfill, whatever's budgets, to be able to do it.
So this will be used in the landfill also.
Yeah, it's used in the landfill, weed, mosquito, and road and bridge.
Okay.
And Dan still needs to demo it to see if it'll work for him.
Yeah.
And if he finds that it works, then that works.
Then he contributes, otherwise he doesn't.
Well,
We'll figure out how to.
we could get it set up and
Like to keep
then
it
see
75.
how it's, let him
Here's the
start to
funds.
utilize it, and if it works for him, then you could go from there.
And like I said, they could take that money that was allocated out of mine, we're not gonna use it, it never was in part of our budget that we touched anyway, so. That, I think that was put in there specifically for City Works, we never used City Works, so take it back, let's use it where we can, and I think these guys need it, so.
Well, I would like to keep the 7,500 allocated because I paid 2 years in a row and haven't touched it, and I could use it for the telephone service, so.
So, motion to move forward and identify the funds, and whether he's in or out, it will be determined by him, just kind of like everything else.
Okay.
Any
Is that a
concerns-
motion?
Is there any concerns with that? That's what I'm asking.
I don't have any. John?
No, it sounds about right.
I'll make that in a motion.
Second.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Sound like a fair board meeting last night.
Kinda. I forgot where I was for a minute.
Stay right there, Dan. You're up for Braden, right?
Yeah, and Adam.
Yes.
So we are here to hopefully get some funds approved to build a new commissioners chambers. We have a lot of needs with the audio video part of it and thought it'd be a great time to bring the whole place up to our standard and maybe even discuss on where we might want to build it.
Well, all I can say is I was invited to the clerk's office yesterday for a Zoom call, and we need a better system.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
It worked.
It worked, but some of the people weren't in the video.
My concern, I guess, is trying to build the chambers while you guys still need a chambers to work in. And as part of the shuffle with the courtrooms, I was wondering if you guys wanted to talk about maybe using the courtroom 118, the arraignment courtroom, as maybe a possibility, putting your chambers down there.
And have you talked with the courts? I mean, I
Talked to security, but not, we talked about, the other plan was not something we wanted to look at, moving other departments in that area.
I think we need to get Carnaroli involved with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
we gotta respect him in that.
That room was part of the shuffle that they were gonna give to us, that space. Getting Jarman's courtroom done, getting her moved back up, and then moving arraignment off the first floor was part of the original approved plan. So that would leave 118 empty, and the discussion was we were gonna put HR in there, and then another discussion came, and maybe that's not the greatest idea. So that was just why it's already been given to us by the courts, I guess.
I'd just like to say,
Yeah.
he's very good about communicating with us. I would like to make sure that
I think
we do the same.
I think all options are on the table. We
That
just
room
need
is
it.
a little bit wider and a little bit longer, and just having the flexibility of no one being in our way while we're doing it, to speed it up a lot.
Well,
And not being displaced might be nice.
so I guess the question is, should that be our chambers?
Right.
That's the question.
The curveball will be the shuffle of other people and where they end up, like family court services and court assistance officer and the arraignment clerks that have space down there right now, where in other areas, I don't know if they will.
They would.
They will.
It's pretty much the same. There's always a courtroom with two offices attached to it, whether they moved in 218,
Or
whether they
upstairs.
moved in axe lines. But I think for sure Jarman's going up back to her spot, so.
Okay.
There's space for everybody, whether you move family court services or not, that's up to you guys, but they don't have to. I like the space downstairs, just as you have a room that would be available if the commission needed to get, in a secure area quick. It'd be an easier exit.
It's also a little more ADA compliant as it's on
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
level.
And security, like the idea of just the location and the crowd of people that you guys get sometimes. But looking to approve the money, and you guys can decide where you think you might want it, but my concern was trying to build this while you guys still need to use it and how that would work.
So if we moved our chambers down there, are we talking about the same dollars?
Yes. It's not that much
Well,
bigger.
that can't quite be right? Because if we move down there, you're gonna modify that thing, and then you're gonna do something different here, so I would think that would be more money, wouldn't
I
it?
think if this was gonna be a training room, this one's ready to go. Just move in ready. Or whatever you wanted to use it for. I was assuming you're gonna leave it like this, an open room that we could use for training or anything like that.
Conference room.
We need a conference room.
Yeah, we
or a
need a
training room.
conference room.
So whether we move down there or we stay here, it's about the same amount. What's the funding mechanism for this?
We talked about using capital acquisition trust. That was Dan's idea originally, which is, it's one-time money that we've been slowly spending on random projects. And there is sufficient funds in there.
How much is in it? Oh,
360.
never mind, I think I know how much is in there.
What's your thought? Where would you rather be?
Downstairs makes more sense to me. It's a little bit bigger, so we have a better crowd, room for people. To me, it makes sense.
It makes sense to me down there.
So let's, I mean, from the consensus here, let's would this drawing need to be changed in a little bit?
Not really.
Same?
Yep.
Okay. And we have identified the funds. I think that it'd be a good project. And like I say, if we're on the main floor, that is
I think ADA accessible
better.
is much better.
Makes sense.
And,
Doesn't people have to ride the elevator anymore.
And we could be here until that one's ready and then just move instead of, because we was worried about setting budget dates and things also that,
So if I can ask what the timeline would be, I just need the timeline by the end of the month because I have to provide our public hearing notice that goes on the tax bills or the assessment notices, and if I have to change that date, we have to republish. So I would just like to keep it clean.
And I wouldn't think that would happen. Where we have to finish Jarman's first, we have a long ways to go on that one.
And our public hearing is August 27th, so.
Yeah, I will make sure that isn't
Okay,
a
then
problem.
we'll just find that.
so would this be completed in this budget year?
I would do my best. I bet it'll be really close.
If not-
That money rolls over, so I don't think
Well,
it's
it doesn't automatically roll over. We have to rebudget.
We just
for it.
have to rebudget.
But we can
We-
anticipate any cash. That's what we've been doing, is just rebudgeting the cash that's left over. So we'll just keep doing that.
But if we move down there, though, that room right now is under something to do with the judges, the courts?
part of the shuffle that was approved prior was, the shuffle of the courtrooms. The deal was if we paid for some of it, they were gonna give us that room to use
So
however we wanted.
the
to.
second floor was a storage room,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and now it's a courtroom.
Right.
And then they're redoing the courtroom up on the third floor. The judge from the third floor is down on the second floor at this time.
Right.
And she's gonna go back up. Then that would move the courtroom that's downstairs up into the second
To the
floor.
second floor.
And then we would end up moving.
But
So
I
it
guess
was
my
a
question-
storage room originally.
Do we still need to run this all by Judge Carnaroli, right?
That's all been approved, really.
Oh, so everybody's good?
It has.
Yeah, we should
I'd
talk
still
with them.
comment to him and tell him this is kind of the direction
Yeah.
we're looking at. I just,
But the only difference to that plan that's been changed is rather than that being an HR suite with a training room, it will be the new commission chambers, and we'll have, this would essentially then be the training room, and we'll move HR into right here. And I'll move the court assistance officer back to their old spot. Don't tell them that.
They like that spot though.
I think they actually like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense that they would then be right across the way from bonds and fines.
With some closable office.
Yeah, and if we do put them back in there, I think we should, before they move in, give that a little bit of a facelift.
For sure.
That's a shoddy office.
Yep.
But
okay?
Yeah.
Got a game plan?
Yep. Got a project board ready to go.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christie might have had something. Did you have?
You said what I wanted to say. But
Oh, okay.
I'm being right across from Bonds and
See how good I am?
All right. Let's go ahead with roads.
Shall we do a motion approving up to 110,000 for that project?
Go ahead and come on.
Okay, one second. Dan,
That's the.
110,000?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a motion to spend up to 110,000 on that.
Is that your motion?
That's a motion. Keep throwing this at me today, throw me curveballs. We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you.
Thank you, that just formalizes that we have that allotted.
Okay.
I just texted her to see if she's on her way down.
Okay, okay.
She just had one person in her office that she
Okay. This is, yeah, we can claim desire. We have somebody coming with, be here in just a minute from the treasurer's office, so
Oh, okay.
you can go ahead and tell us who you are.
I'm Rose Linda Raby. We moved here a little over a year ago. And I was unemployed when I got here. I was employed in Colorado when they did the
everything for the house, in the housing that the house we were gonna buy. There was a mistake and they shoved my income to one side, thinking I still had the income that I had in Colorado. I had nothing for a whole year. And now we're living on Social Security. And I just recently started work as a caregiver for my husband and my daughter, but my husband has dementia. And I work as a caregiver. That's the only income we have in. And when I got the tax bills, and I don't have a homeowner's insurances yet, because when we moved here, I used all that money to live on, okay? And also to pay all the taxes and the homeowner's insurance all up front and everything. And then I ran out of money. So then, because it took a year for me to get employed here, because I was told it would take 3 months, I would just transfer over, you know, since I've been doing the same kind of work. But due to COVID and everything got kind of messed up, so I hadn't working. I just started working. They employed me, I think, in November, but I didn't start really working until January of this year, and I'm having a hard time paying. I don't have the income to pay the taxes and pay the homeowner's insurance with what we're living on. So I was wondering if there's somehow someone can help me, you know. I even asked for payments on my homeowner's insurance, and that's like almost $190 a month. I can't even afford that.
Okay. Misty, welcome.
Hello. I guess I would just suggest if there's any sort of payments that she is able to make, but also the PTR program would need to be applied for by Monday is the deadline. So going forward with taxes, I would say, you know, that's something that she should look into. As far as the taxes for 2023, that's kind of, I mean, there's a lot of people in the same situation, so I would say any sort of payments that you're able to make.
I did make an $80 payment.
Yes.
And since then too, since I talked to Kristen last week before, my hours have been cut because the state only pays for a certain amount of things. So I have a little less money than I thought, you know, I wasn't normally getting. But I did make an $80 payment after I tried to pay everything when I could, but you know, I have tried to catch up with utilities and all that, and I so far I'm almost done with that part. But
So looking at this, she's paid up till 2023.
No, she has 2023's owing.
Yes, that's what, I mean, up to.
Yes.
And so she didn't pay the first payment,
Correct.
and that was $1,571.
Well, she made an $80 payment towards the base amount of it, but now she's got, let's see, $1,566.41 was the original amount, but now we have some interest put on there, so it's fluctuated plus her $80 payment.
Okay. Well, and I'll just tell you how I feel is you're not behind, honestly, on your taxes. You're not in any predicament where you're going to lose your house. And so I would say that you need to set up a payment system for these that are due and past due, so that you can catch them up and start in that process. I'm not in favor of forgiving taxes in the predicament that you're in right now. You're not in any harm of losing your house. And I think that the other taxpayers in Bannock County are not obligated to pay your taxes for you at this time. And so, other commissioners, thoughts?
The homeowners is not on the property, correct?
No, she has a homeowner's exemption on there.
and I don't have I don't have homeowner's insurance.
No, this is just taxes. So you have what's called a
I'm sorry.
homeowner's
Oh,
exemption,
okay, I'm
so
sorry.
it lowers your taxes a little bit.
What was the thing that you said she needed to apply for?
PTR.
PTR, yes, okay.
So that's a program, state program that you can apply for every year, and it has to be applied for by April 15th. So you
I
have until
applied,
then.
I came and I applied for, is that what they call a circuit breaker?
Yes.
Okay, I applied, and they said they were gonna take $700 off for next year. 24, 25, I believe.
2024s?
Okay, I've not talked
Well,
to her
there-
about it yet, so.
Go ahead and come up here. Don't sit back there and squint your eyes. Come up here, Anita.
This is new to me, I didn't know this was on the agenda. So,
Well, glad you're here.
if she applied and she is approved, and she, unfortunately, we also have a median, I don't know how much her house is valued at. We also have a
500.
median that we have to look at, so she may or may not qualify. I'm just
Okay.
gonna tell you, because we do have a median that the state has put on, that if she's above that median than last year, I wanna say that median was a little less than her house, so she probably would have qualified, but I don't know where it's gonna come out this year. So I'm just saying that you can't guarantee
You
that
guys got
that's
all
gonna
this.
happen.
Can I say something? When I got this house, it was a big mess up. I was doing northern Colorado, and there was a big mess up. The house was not selling for that much, and then it was. I was going to get, I'm ill and my husband's ill, and I wanted to make sure that when we're gone, that she'll have a place to live. My plan was to pay a house with the money I got, pay a house and have it paid off, so she'd have somewhere to live. I was supposed, they said, well, you go ahead and just pay a couple, 1 or 2 payments, and then you get reverse mortgage. That's what they had said. Well, that didn't happen. And then taxes, I never even thought about, I was paying my taxes with my house in Colorado, and you get here. But I am trying, this house is way too much house for us. I mean, it's great for getting around and everything, but I can't afford that. So.
Then you probably ought to put it on the market.
I have it on the market.
Okay.
Yeah, just trying to.
And that's another reason why I'm saying, if the house is worth more than what you need, and it's more than what you need, if you sell the house, and you can pay the taxes, or the back
Yes.
taxes can be
Yeah.
paid. And that's another reason I can't forgive something that it doesn't need forgiven yet.
Yeah, I'd pretty much be in line with what Commissioner Moser's saying. I think you really have a solution. Put it on the market, you sell it, you can downsize, and I think everything's under control, is the impression I get.
I didn't hear him too well. I didn't hear you too well.
I think you've got a good plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I concur.
So we're not gonna do anything with this at this time. Like I say, I would still get with the treasurer's office, figure out a plan to make your payments. You're not in any way or shape gonna lose your house, so put it on the market, get it sold, and solve your problems.
Yeah, I know I owe that, so I'm responsible, but I had no idea, what was going on, because I was told this, and we got stuck in that house. Because we got here, we had nowhere to go. And they did help us get back in the house, but that wasn't the way it was supposed to be, everything turned out wrong.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you. So we will talk to
Is Shanda there? You moved chairs.
Good afternoon, Shanda Crystal, Chief Procurement Officer. I have a procurement update for the board. We want to start with the Event Center Concert Production Services. While that solicitation has been challenging in the past, we are going out for a 3-year contract for this year in hopes of finding some efficiencies in the operatings for Scott and how it works between the concert production and the event center, as well as some savings. If they can count on, that they have that contract for the next 3 years, we're hoping to see some savings as well to come in for those bids. There are the variations on the different writers for the concerts is what is causing a lot of the uncertainty as far as the bidding process goes. But we've refined what we did last year, and that will go live tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get some interest in that solicitation. If we go next to the facilities, the boilers, that is a project that Dan would really like to see get completed before it gets cold again. And now that we have an architect signed and contract ready, that will be moving forward here soon. If we go to emergency services, the Lava Ranches for the fuel reduction contractor. That one is also on schedule and will go live next Tuesday. If we jump to the Commissioners 6th Avenue entrance renovation, that has been published and we have a pre-proposal meeting set for Tuesday. And we do have 3 contractors currently registered for that meeting. The Event Center fireworks display, we received no questions on that proposal, and so we will not issue an addendum on that. Those are due on Monday, and we do have 1 current submission already received. And the last one is for Public Works for road chips. We had a bid opening this week and we received 2 bids to that. Those have been reviewed and the team does have a recommendation ready for the board on Tuesday.
Good.
The last item I have is I just wanted to tell Nancy and Christy, thanks so much. They've been a great team to help the different federal requirements that we have for ARPA as we get closer and closer to the deadline of getting things under contract. They have been critical in moving forward with being comfortable in contracting and getting the right documents set up so we can move forward confidently in using those ARPA funds. And I just really appreciate the team effort.
We like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
How?